This is Craig Haugard with your Financial Issues Ag Update. Corn was supported by a huge weekly export sales number yesterday of 71.4 million bushels. On the other side of the ledger, we had crude oil trading lower and more announcements of ethanol plants either slowing down or idling. At the end of the day, it was almost a wash as the spot futures closed 1/4 cent higher. As I record this, the overnight spot corn futures are trading a penny lower. Soybeans saw some profit taking ahead of next Tuesday's planting intentions report. This mainly pressured the front-end months of the futures. Soybeans did gain some support from a strong soybean meal market and a good weekly export sales of 33.2 million bushels. At the close, May futures were a penny and a quarter lower, while November was a penny and a half higher. In the overnight trade, we have spot soybean futures trading 7 cents higher as I record this. Wheat had better than expected export sales of 27.2 million bushels, and domestic demand for flour is still very strong. But in spite of that, we saw wheat futures get hit pretty hard with a round of profit taking. Kansas City futures were hit the hardest, with the spot month closing down a bit over 13 cents. In the overnight trade, we're snapping back a little bit. Chicago is 3 cents higher, Kansas City is up a nickel, and Minneapolis is trading a penny higher. Cotton futures retreated yesterday, with the May futures closing down 66 points to settle at 52.78. In the overnight trade, spot futures are an additional 10 points lower. Livestock futures had a pretty rough day yesterday. June live cattle futures were $2.77.5 lower, while May feeder cattle futures closed down $3.67.5. Lean hog futures got battered as well, with the June futures closing down to $3 limit. After the close, we got the quarterly USDA hogs and pigs report. All hogs and pigs were at 104%. Kept for marketing was at 104.3%, and both those numbers were higher than trade expectations. While hogs kept for breeding came in at 100.4%, and that was below trade expectations. Class 3 milk futures had a horrible day, with the April futures closing 24 points lower, settling at 15.70. Now, this market is inverted, with the May futures closing at 14.56. It's not a pretty picture. In the overnight trade, spot futures are trading unchanged. The cash livestock markets all closed lower yesterday also. Choice beef boxes were $1.73 lower as they closed at $253.57. Selects were 92 cents lower, settling at $242.17. Pork carcass values were $1.42 lower as they closed out the day at $77.61 per hundredweight. This has been Craig Haugard with your Financial Issues Ag Update. We'll be right back with more financial issues after this.